justified? If anybody is wondering whether helping the Iranian people rid themselves of this tyrannical regime that has oppressed them for 47 years is justified, besides looking at images and videos, the people themselves thanking those who are trying to liberate them, you need to go to social media to find stuff like that, because mainstream media, for some weird reason, is barely showing the voices of the people. Here are some important facts about the history of this regime. 47 years ago, this regime violently overthrew the Iranian government. They took over the American embassy and they took hostage 66 Americans for 444 days. 8 Americans were killed trying to free them. This regime's stated aim is to overthrow the United States government, which it calls the Great Satan, as well as the Israeli government, which it's called the Little Satan, and to export its virulent version of Islam across the world, the most oppressive version, what is otherwise a very beautiful religion. This regime has aided Russia in its attacks against Ukraine. It sent over 60,000 Iranian Shahid missiles. It's contributed to over 500,000 casualties. It's exported over 400 ballistic missiles, and it's given the Russians the technology for them to continue building more missiles and drones to continue oppressing the people of Ukraine. Internally, for 47 years, this regime has prevented women from living their lives fully, imprisoned them or killing them if they violate their most strict rules, including just removing their hijabs and showing their hair. Just in the last 2 months, over 500,000 of its own people were arrested, blinded, or maimed. Upwards of 100,000 of its own people killed. 43,000 of them killed in just 2 days for peacefully protesting against the regime. In the meantime, the regime's children, the Ayatollah's daughter, is partying and they're getting drunk and violating all of the very rules from the regime while the regime oppresses its people. The Islamic Republic regime is far and away the greatest exporter of terror worldwide. Let me give you some examples. Hezbollah, its flagship terror group, basically contributed to the decimation of Lebanon. It presumably killed the Prime Minister Rafik Hariri, who was trying to bring Lebanon towards progress. It contributed to wars between the Shia, Sunni, and Christian communities. It lobbied tens of thousands of rockets and missiles against Israel. It helped propagate Syria's oppression of its own people and helped Assad kill over 500,000 of its own citizens. The RR has funded the Houthis, a terrorist group in Yemen that has for years attacked Saudi Arabia, attacked Israel with missiles, attacked American ships and international ships that are trying to go across the Red Sea. On the Israel-Palestine front, this regime has tried to derail efforts at progress towards peace between these two peoples for decades. First, they used to fund Islamic Jihad, a terrorist group that committed numerous terrorist attacks almost every time that there was promise of progress, funding terror to try to derail those negotiations. Then they started funding Hamas, leading and culminating with the October 7th attacks, where thousands of Israelis were killed and 12 Americans and people from many other nationalities were killed and taken hostage. And not only hurting those people, but also hurting the Palestinians that quest for peace, taking the Palestinians hostage and using them as pawns in their geopolitical extremist warfare. Not only that, but culturally, the Islamic Republic regime has exported so much backwards thinking that they've tried to eclipse the beautiful versions of Islam like that of Ayatollah Sistani of Iraq that are much more tolerant. And their darkness ended up contributing to impacting even the Arab world and the Sunni world, which is a different stand of Islam, because they were competing to see who could be more extremist. Palestinian friends tell me that in the 60s, 70s, you used to have women walking freely with their hair showing, with skirts, and nowadays you see so much more conservative demeanor across the Arab world. Only recently have the Arab Sunni states said enough is enough, we need to fight against that. But it's worse than that. Even though the Islamic Republic regime is Shia, they funded Sunni terrorists like Al-Qaeda, like ISIS, those people that committed the 9/11 attacks before and after. This regime was one of the two parties responsible for the Iran-Iraq war, contributed to over 1 million deaths, or an estimated 1 million deaths of Iranians and Iraqis in an 8-year protracted war. Their extremism doesn't stop in the Middle East. They've exported terror to Paraguay, where they applied the drug trade, to Venezuela, where they have drug trade and a lot of illicit gambling, and even in Argentina, where they bombed a Jewish community center, and they had also killed the district attorney that was trying to bring them to justice. The same thing happened in the United States, where they tried to kill the US president and even their own people like Masih Alinejad, one of the great heroes of the Iranian people, while their people suffer and and complain that they don't have enough to eat. They expend unlimited resources trying to develop weapons of mass destruction, ballistic missiles that can reach our shores, drones that can reach all across the world. The Persian people, over thousands of years, have brought so much light to the world, starting with Cyrus the Great, one of the greatest humanitarians who freed a lot of people and helped elevate humanity. It's our turn to help free them.